Toledo, a hub of entertainment, art, and also the crossroads of America. I'm Tim McMahon, and I'm hitting the road to discover the cities, neighborhoods, and gems beyond the Glass City. Join me for an adventure as I meet the people and tour the places at the beating heart of the Midwest. This is One Tank Travel. Much like Toledo, Fort Wayne, Indiana is a Midwestern city on the rise, thanks to a renewed investment in parks, the arts, and refurbished hip areas like the Landing, where I made my first stop on our trip at Utopian Coffee. First of all, this is delicious. I just got a fresh brewed pour over. Tell me a little bit about Utopian Coffee.
Yeah, so Utopian Coffee was started in 2006 as kind of a side project, a passion project. My cousin and I began it together. He was really the coffee nerd behind the operation, and my background was more in overseas travel and development, and so fell in love with the developing world, tried to figure out a way that we could do something meaningful and stay connected to coffee origin, come alongside farmers and figure out how to make their lives better. We're focused on high-impact social projects around the world, most notably converting cocaine farms to coffee down in Colombia. So that's been our big project over the last 4.5 years. We've worked in Guatemala with an all-female owned co-op, helping give women land ownership rights for the first time. So really, incredible things that we've been able to be a part of.
What's the kind of response you get when you go to these communities and you start? Are they very embracing to you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so much of it, like any, relationship. I mean, I kind of use the phrase, we like to go with, bigger ears than mouths. Mm-hmm. And so we want to go and really understand what it is that they're trying to accomplish and how we can just serve them and be a part of their goals. And so when we go down, I mean, it's certainly my favorite part of the job. And the last year has been a little challenging because I haven't been able to travel as much. But taking a backpack and, going somewhere for 2 weeks, getting to break bread with, the community has been, just super powerful.
I've always thought too that like coffee, great conversations always start like with a cup of coffee.
For sure.
People sit down there, it takes a while to drink it, you can't rush through it, so I think that's great. I think that, great vessel to sort of build this through is the coffee. Let's talk about the coffee house downstairs where we saw a good crowd there early this morning. Talk about setting up here in the Landing and starting this coffee house.
Right here on the Landing, kind of central part of downtown, really significant block, tons of history. Actually, this is the oldest commercial district in Indiana. So the first post office, first library, first hotel, first newspaper, all right here on the block, right behind this. And why it's called the Landing, the Erie Canal was, behind this block. And so boats would pull up and this was where they would land and everyone would come here to do commerce or, stay overnight. And so really significant. And it, over the last several decades, just, the suburban sprawl happened and, people weren't spending as much time downtown. Fortunately, some awesome developers out of Cincinnati came, the Model Group, and said, hey, we think we can do something special with this. And they've certainly done that. So there's 70 apartments on the block now, really cool retail, and we're just excited to get to be a part of that. So Landing Beer Company is next door, and that's ours as well. We have a shared kitchen that kind of fuels both concepts. So in the morning over at Utopian Coffee and Kitchen, that's your avocado toast, grain bowl, breakfast sandwich kind of fare. And then afternoon and evening over at Landing Beer Company, that's kind of barbecue. So we've got pulled pork and ribs and delicious mac and cheese and a couple other things that pair well with beer.
Well, thank you very much. I love the mission. I love the coffee too. I haven't even touched on it. It's delicious. I love it. I'm about ready for a refill, so I'm gonna head down there and
I know a guy.
My mid-morning caffeine gave me a boost, clearly. So I hit up the revitalized riverfront alongside Jessa Campbell of Visit Fort Wayne.
So we've got the playground behind us, this park, and this wonderful, beautiful park of Promenade Park.
Promenade Park.
It could be either way, promenade or promenade. That's the little thing we have here. Everyone's welcome here. It opened in 2019, and it's a great park for you to come and explore our outdoor amenities. So we've got 3 rivers in downtown Fort Wayne, 8 miles of riverfront. You can get out on the rivers by kayak, canoe, or paddleboard. And this park really connects it all to our downtown and our thriving center. You can come here and enjoy the playground like we have here.
Like I tried. I made an attempt with the wall.
Exactly.
I think I did pretty good.
I think so. You weren't really competing with other kids though either, so.
Thank God. Let's take a walk down the canopy trail. The tree canopy trail?
Tree canopy trail, and it kind of juts out across our trail right here that we're walking on. We have 120 miles of trails in Fort Wayne, but this is a unique little special part that kind of goes out over the riverfront and lets you see into downtown Fort Wayne and really get a great overview of Promenade Park.
Is this for walkers and bikers, or is it strictly one way or the other?
It's for walkers and bikers. Maybe if you have your rollerblades on. I mean, you've got wood boards here. It's going to be a little bumpy, but everyone's welcome to enjoy it.
So what river are we coming up on right now?
This is the St. Mary's River, and it will combine with the St. Joseph River to a river you're familiar with, the Maumee River.
The Maumee made its way out here, the mighty Maumee. That's awesome. So not only do we have a promenade park and you have a promenade park, or promenade, but we're also connected by the Maumee, and I notice a lot of similarities between Toledo and Fort Wayne. You both have this area where it's being revitalized. We saw a little bit of it with Utopian Coffee. We're going to see that with some of the breweries too. We actually hear it in the background too as construction's going on, but a beautiful look at the skyline here. We're going to stop here briefly. What's it feel like to see this develop over the past couple of years?
Yeah, so it's really exciting. You know, when this opened in 2019, everyone came out and really celebrated. We had performances on the river, a concert with a stage out over the river, and really we didn't get enough time last year or in 2019 to really celebrate it. We're excited for the festivals to come down here, and then there's further development along our rivers with phase 2 and 3 of Riverfront, and those are going to be more natural areas, so we really want to highlight those and have, you know, unique touch points like Promenade Park to get you a different look at our riverfront, but then unique areas where you can see the natural areas.
And really explore it too with, is it Fort Wayne Outfitters?
Yes, Fort Wayne Outfitters right here along Promenade Park, giving you rentals for kayaks, bikes, all of it that you might need to get outside.
To learn more about the emphasis on exercise in the area, I caught up with Kara Hall, owner of Fort Wayne Outfitters and Bike Depot.
We opened the doors in 2007, and we were inspired by the building actually because it's the old train depot. It's right on the river and on the Greenway, the trail system through Fort Wayne. So we're connected to over 100 miles of trails, and then also on the 3 rivers. So we love kayaking ourselves, and we live on one of the rivers, and so we wanted to spread that love of kayaking to everyone else.
I love that you brought it out here. It's really cool that they're all hanging up and ready to go outside. Is this a pretty low-key river? You're not going to run into anything too rough?
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
When it does get fast and high, we don't rent. So we only rent during times when it's really easy for beginners.
Okay.
And so there's a few times a year in the spring that it'll get fast and furious, and then we don't rent during that time.
You avoid that.
Yep.
I love the emphasis on outdoor activities and being active. We're seeing that more and more, not just in Fort Wayne and Toledo, but around the country with bike paths and things of that nature. Can we keep going along this trail? Because I want to see this historic bridge that we have here. What bridge is this?
This is the Wells Street Bridge. It's a historic bridge. You once maybe could have drove across it, but now it's just a pedestrian bridge. You can rent it out, have an event there, but really it connects the 2 sides of Promenade Park, so the south and the north part of the banks, and enjoying that and connecting the wonderful amenities here.
Coming up, it's like Google for music lovers. Take a tour of Sweetwater Sound when we return. You're watching One Tank Travel, presented by AAA Tire and Auto Service Centers. Sweetwater Sound, or Sweetwater for short, is a massive complex located on US 30, a short drive from downtown Fort Wayne. Retail, recording studios, distribution center, and much more. The facility is a dream for musicians and music lovers alike.
So this is how it all starts out, huh? You walk through, first of all, it's insanely big.
It is much bigger than you realize from the outside. So you're going to run across our concierge team. They are fabulous and will help with anything that you need. Directions. If you're visiting from out of town, we'll make dinner reservations for you.
I might have to do that.
Get you all connected. But we call this our mall area, and that's because this is open to the public, and we really want this to be a community space.
Yeah.
And the really cool thing about this space is we are encouraged to not sit at our desks and eat, but to come out into the diner. And there's a lot of collaboration that takes place when you're out here.
This is an interesting aspect.
It's just a cool feature, isn't it? You don't see this in many retail spaces.
Yeah, absolutely.
So any of our employees who work on the second floor can ride the slide down to the first floor, but it's also open to the public. So anybody who wants to come in and, yeah, absolutely.
I might have to check that out.
This is the Sweetwater Academy, and we have students here starting as young as 6 months old. We do rhythm classes, kind of like a kinder music type. We call it our tiny musicians classes, up to in their 90s who come in, and they can get weekly lessons. And we put together a show for them in the summertime so that they can have a bit of a recital. But we do guitar and keyboard and drums and vocal. Really, any instrument you want to play, you can get a lesson here.
Sweetwater ranges from space for aspiring musicians to playrooms for the pros.
This is one of the studios you have here at Sweetwater. How many studios do you have?
We have 4 in all, and this is Studio A, our largest studio.
How often do you have musicians in here at any of the studios recording?
Nearly every day we have someone in here doing something, whether it's actually a musician who comes in from the outside or whether it's just our studio crew mixing music and putting something together.
When you guys built these, like how did this all come about as far as the studio aspect of Sweetwater? Was this the foundation and everything else built around it?
Sweetwater was founded really as a studio, but it was a mobile studio. So this was back in 1979. And our founder, Chuck Surak, was a musician traveling and decided he wanted to get off the road, but wanted to stay involved in music. So he literally took a VW bus and retrofitted it and put tape players in there and recorders and would travel around the community and regionally and would go to churches or schools, anywhere that they had live performances, and do his recording and then take it back into his home at the time and do the mixing there. And so really the studio aspect is the foundation of what we do. There is often live music in this building. The Crescendo Club, which is a smaller stage that's open. We do live at lunch performances, for example. And so we'll have acoustic performances, artists who are coming through the area or local artists, and so they go up on the stage and they'll just play during the lunchtime.
How often do you see employees come up here and participate?
In performances?
Yeah.
Oh, all of our employees who are musicians get a chance to come up here if they want. We also do some open mic nights and some jazz performances, and the Academy students can come here too, and they do performances as well.
Is there like a particular day during the week where you have like maybe like a decent crowd? Like today's a Thursday, so a lunchtime type atmosphere where people are kind of ready to let loose for the week.
Yeah, between noon and 1, virtually every day, this place gets really busy. We don't do live performances every single day. In fact, sometimes we'll do them every other week, but when we have them here, this place gets full.
Oh yeah, I bet. You could really come here and then just get lost all day. And I mean that in a positive way, and it's almost overwhelming with just the sound and the sights and the colors and everything. But again, in a positive way, you feel the creativity flowing through here. Obviously, you can sell stuff on the internet, but it's so cool that a place like this still attracts a crowd, that people are still coming out, that they want to see it, want to get their hands on things and play around with it a little bit. Touching on that, the distribution building, that's in the back. We're going to see that next. What can we expect when we go back there?
That is brand new. It opened in February of 2020, and it was a little bit serendipitous because it happened just before COVID and the shutdown, and we had built it so large that we had space for inventory. And so when everything shut down, our governor in Indiana said, we want you to still sell, mail order and internet and shipping. we don't want people to come into the stores. So even though our store wasn't open, people could order online.
Very cool.
And we had the inventory. And it is just massive. It's almost 500,000 square feet. We've already done one addition to it. It also houses our guitar gallery, which we'll show you.
Which I really want to see. I'm excited for that.
It's really cool. So these are the inspections. Every guitar that's over $300 comes in, gets unboxed. We check it over very carefully. It goes through a 55-point inspection with one of our guitar handlers. They play it. They take a look to make sure there are no flaws in it, that the strings are properly done. I mean, they tune it. After they're done with the inspection, it goes into our product photography area. And so we take 11 or 12 different pictures of it from all different angles. We weigh it, do all the specs, and that's what goes online, so that when you are purchasing a guitar, the one that you see on the internet is the one that you're purchasing.
So it's really going the extra mile with customer service.
It is. This is a real point of pride for us, because you're not going to get this at other guitar retailers. And so we know that when we're selling you a guitar, that it's playable. You can take it home, take it out of the box, and you can start playing it right away.
And it gets candy with it too.
And you get candy with it. What else could you ask for?
There's nothing beats that.
When we return, we hit the Northern Indiana Beer Trail. This is One Tank Travel, presented by AAA Tire and Auto Service Centers. Much like Northwest Ohio, Fort Wayne is part of a booming craft beer scene, thanks in part to the Northern Indiana Beer Trail, a passport program which encourages locals and travelers to taste test the variety of suds at area establishments. I stopped into a trio of locations, starting with Trubble Brewing.
What do we have here?
So you've got the Penguin Speed White Coffee Stout, which stout drinkers might be surprised that it's not dark.
Yeah,
So
I am.
that's the twist. And I'm drinking the Dog Slobber Session IPA.
It is kind of like a mind trick that you're tasting coffee, but it's a lighter beer.
Right.
How did you pull something like this off?
It's top secret.
It's top secret. Just threw everything in there and it worked out.
On the banks of the St. Mary's River and a short jaunt from the Tree Canopy Trail just over the historic Well Street Bridge sits one of 3 Trubble Brewing locations in the Fort Wayne area.
We opened in November 2015. My husband and I started the brewery. He was a home brewer, and we just felt like Fort Wayne needed another brewery, so here we are.
What's this scene like living in Fort Wayne, owning a business here? Is it as much fun as it sounds?
Yeah, I mean, it's work, of course. You still got to deal with the day-to-day problems, but I'll take it. I'll take it any day. This one is called Sweaty Jorts and Dog Slobber IPA. That's one of our favorite parts of the job is beer names. Usually it just starts with we're joking around at home about something, and then we'll say, oh, that would make a good beer name.
What's the vibe down here? Because you see the construction happening, you see things changing. Is this like an atmosphere that people seek out to be along the river and having a beer and like a quick eat as well?
So our vibe here is family friendly. We have lots of kid friendly foods and ice cream and things like that, as well as having the treats, of course, for the adults.
Next up was a visit to a staple of Fort Wayne, Mad Anthony Brewing Company, where I got a brief lesson in brewing from assistant brewer Mitchell Thomas.
This is like a dark roast. This is actually our chocolate, and this is after it's ground. So you see it's kind of coarse, and you're not getting much sugar from the dark malt. It's mostly a flavoring and a color.
It's got a good aroma that comes from it too.
I mean, it comes off as coffee at sometimes, especially the darker roast.
I was going to say, it kind of reminds me of the coffee aspect because you have dark roast, you have light roast. It's almost the same with coffee and beer as far as going through the process.
I mean, we use anything from oats to wheat to rye. Just depends on the style that we're trying to make.
Then I cozied up to the bar for a chat with Director of Marketing and Design, Josh Foles.
So it's the raspberry wheat, ruby raspberry wheat. It has pure Oregon raspberries in it. It is also a multiple award winner. It's got this really beautiful pinkish red color, and it's just another all-around great kind of easy drinking beer. All right, this is our Harry Balls. This is a Irish stout. It is named after a former Fort Wayne mayor.
Are you one of the oldest beers in Fort Wayne? Have you kind of sort of seen this craft brew renaissance on?
Yeah, we started in 1998. So even when you come in the restaurant, you can look through the windows and see our original starting spot. Throughout the year, we've seen, you know, just tons of really awesome stuff happening around the city. Just in the past, you know, less than 10 years, we've had just an explosion here with some really awesome friends. A lot of great support from the community, and just all around, just a really awesome experience.
Scooby Snacks, that's like a signature appetizer. What is that? It looks like it's very simple.
It is, yeah. It's a really simple dish, but it's a lot of flavor. They're steak fries. They're coated in a secret seasoning with some really awesome cali dip, really refreshing. Just a really awesome snack to pair up with your beer. And then we've also got the margarita unwrapped. Those are kind of our special, the flat bread, kind of thin crust pizzas that we top with different things. You got the margarita there with fresh tomatoes and mozzarella on it, and just another great. We try to match up our food with the beer.
Cheers to you, my friend. I should have did this off the bat, but we'll get it in. Thank you very much.
Gourmet cuisine and craft beer don't often go hand in hand, but that's exactly what I found at my last stop on this one-tank travel to Fort Wayne, Junk Ditch Brewing Company.
You know that flavor you get when you like handpick a fresh tomato out of your mom or dad's garden? That's what these mushrooms are like. You can tell that it's homegrown, flavorful, just bursting with flavor. Very, very good.
We got started as a food truck, actually. Our owners started that as kind of a way to start serving food. 4 years later, 2016, expanded into a full brewery. But the owners here, they're all classically trained chefs. They know their way around food, and they know their way around the community as well. They're all from here and work really hard to make Junk Ditch a great thing for the community.
Let's talk about the food. You brought some, specifically what's out on the table right now?
Definitely our focus is on local and on handmade. We've got a little smoked salmon dip. Obviously that salmon's not coming from around here, but the crackers were made here, the bread's here, the arugula salad comes from the farm, the orange marmalade was made here, the kale salad, that big just beast of kale, all came from the farm, and then the roasted mushrooms. Definitely a stellar lineup of things we've got.
What do you have? What are you drinking?
I'm drinking Spectacular Draculas. It's probably our most popular that we have on right now. It's tropical and it's juicy, two things which are perfect for summer. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better beer.
And what did I go with? Like a staple here?
Definitely a staple. That's Andy Pants.
Andy Pants?
Andy Pants, yes. Which is our cream ale. It's going to be light. It's going to be low on the hops, easy to drink. It's a people pleaser.
I'm sure this building wasn't built for Junk Ditch, but it feels like it was. You guys just, snuggle in so well with the kitchen and the brewery in the back and even this bar set up. How did you find this place that's kind of tucked away from the rest of Fort Wayne?
I think the owners did a lot of looking when they were looking for a space, which props to them. They did most of the renovations themselves, which is really cool.
Yeah. Why should people visit Junk Ditch and Fort Wayne as a whole?
There's so much in Fort Wayne. Fort Wayne, leaps and bounds is how far Fort Wayne has come. There's always something opening up. There's always something new. There are murals all over the place. We're on our way to being a bigger city.